friends. Hello, everybody. This is Claudia from Canada. Nice to see you all here. I want to say hello to some of my uh, live friends. I have Faye from Singapore. Hello, Faye. I got Adriana from Florida. And I got JT and Danielle from the USA. And of course, our special guest of the day, we have Martin. Martin is from New York, and you guys are going to be super excited to hear a little bit about what this great man has to share with us. I'm excited to get to know more about him. And so thank you, Martin, for being here with us. I'm going to start actually by allowing him to tell us a little bit about who is Martin. And then our next one will be what he is trying to tell the world. So let's start with who is Martin. Martin, it's so good to have you here in our show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Claudia. It's a pleasure to be with you. Good morning, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here this morning.
Martin, so tell us a little bit about who is Martin as a man. Let's not go yet into Sleeper 360, but let's just talk. Who is Martin? Where do you live? Are you single? Are you married? Because I know that, after people get to know you a little bit, they're going to fall in love with you. And hey, I may get a question that if are you married or not? So let's get to know who you are first.
Okay. As you mentioned, my name is Martin. Last name is Claudia. Born in Ghana. Was raised in the Bronx. Um, I'm not married. I am, however, a father, a proud papa of a 14-year-old, and that's one of probably of the many hats that I wear. It's probably my most important hat, being a dad. I'm also a school teacher. I'm a fitness coach. I deliver fitness and nutrition content. I'm not sure whether I'm necessarily an influencer. Many have referenced me as such. I'm not sure that I would necessarily fall in that category, but be that as it may, I'm in the space of sharing ideas, sharing fitness and nutrition-based content. And most recently, folks have been asking me a bunch of questions about my routine when I make it known that I'm 40 years old. People normally are taken aback by it because I typically get confused for somebody in their mid-20s. You mentioned what sleeper physique is. Basically, there used to be an avatar when I was growing up as a young man, and that avatar for fitness or the person that was the most fit was somebody on the smaller side. They were leaner, they were agile, they were functional, they can run several miles. But more recently, in the past, let's say decade and a half, maybe 2 decades, that avatar has been replaced with something of a different sort. Okay, the current avatar for what constitutes fitness or a fit person is the more larger, the more robust, the more rotund, albeit muscular, but still, fit, reasonably fit. And my argument is that that should not be the standard for what constitutes physical fitness. It ought to go back to the earlier version, smaller, more functional, more agile, capable of a bunch of different things. So the sleeper look, basically, to sum it all up, is the kind of guy, think of Brad Pitt in Fight Club or Will Smith in I Am Legend, the kind of guy that when he's fully clothed, he looks, obviously he's still very fit, but when his clothes come off or when he's wearing something a little bit more form-fitting, it reveals another level, another layer of physical fitness. That ought to be the avatar and the standard for physical fitness, not the current iteration.
Are when I say we, it's the Sleeper 360, are we catering to all groups of men, or are we catering to a more adult crowd? Where are we targeting our Sleeper 360?
That's an excellent question. All people are welcome to it, right? In fact, I have a lot of women probably I have more women who follow me than men. I'm not sure. I haven't done the math on it. But when you talk about sort of a generational breakdown, let's say young people versus older people, my niche in terms of what I'm looking to do in this space is primarily going after the older adult, let's say 30s and above, the guy who typically finds himself too busy to work out, right? That's a lot of folks who fall into that category. And my presentation is to let them know that you need not pick between your busy schedule or lifestyle versus your physical fitness. You can and therefore should have both. So what I do is I take a look into their day-to-day schedule and I look for spaces and openings and opportunities where I can fit something that they're able to do. So whether, if you're in meetings on calls all day long, in between those calls, you can do a plank, all right? You can do some push-ups, you can do some jumping jacks, right? And I hold these men accountable to their goals. And in turn, they give me the results that we're both after.
I really like where you're going. I am 51 years old and I am married to a 51-year-old who actually tries to do exactly that. He says, if I don't stop and do a short workout of 20 minutes in between my sometimes 8-hour to 10-hour schedule, I will be tired, I will be sick, and I will be dead. That's how he says it. He says that actually the release of the testosterone that he will be able to get at 11 in the morning or 12 when he's at in the middle of meetings will actually help him be more effective. He's a senior project manager at a biggest telecommunication company in Canada, and he says actually working out in the middle of the day, just a short routine. He splits them sometimes to. Sorry, somebody quiet me. He says that gives him the best feeling. So we are going to post some of those links, guys. If you're on Facebook, we're going to put them on the Facebook feed. If you're live, we're going to put them on the chat. Please start sharing this Facebook Live and start sharing to your friends and family, because you can still be live. Because you know what? When you're live, you can ask Martin some questions at the end. So we chose a really good topic for today. And I do want to show you guys a little bit about Martin and his Instagram, and also something that we're very proud of, which is a prize that I know he's going to win. He's been holding the first, holding strong to first spot for weeks now. And we're almost ready to get him into a cover of a magazine. So I'm so excited. I think the For Life community really is excited to see Martin on that magazine. So we'll get to that at the end. Let's talk a little bit about, there's so many topics I wanted to talk with Martin. He is like a professional on so many things that I said, what do we choose? But the hot topic, at least in the For Life community, is anti-aging and aging slower, or reversing age, if we can say such thing. I actually just want to talk about that. So let's start with that, Martin. Let's what is aging? What does aging mean? And again, I feel better than ever, but I want to feel like this next decade, I want to be able to give myself the gift of life. I had my child late. I was telling you at the beginning of the story, I am 50 and I have a 12-year-old. So that requires a lot of energy and stamina for both Waldo and I. So I want to talk about aging and what aging is first. Can you help me a little bit with that? Help the audience with what is aging?
Well, there's the obvious, right? We're alive, and with time, if we're fortunate, God willing, we get to live longer, we get to age. But then there's another aspect of aging, which is the demands that often accompany somebody who is older, right? Now, the first category, if we're lucky, we'll be able to get that. The second category is sort of incidental, not being purposeful, not being intentional about our nutrition and our bodily sort of movements. Okay. We want to age, obviously, if again, God willing, we want to live long, healthier lives, but we want to do so in a manner that is graceful. Okay. Now, one of the major culprits for aging, in a manner that is not as graceful, right? The second category is glycation, advanced glycation and products. So when you get simple sugar molecules, and those sugar molecules combine with a protein or lipids, or which is commonly referred to as fats, right? When you combine the two, glycation is the end product, which results in a bunch of oxidative damage and a bunch of inflammatory markers running all throughout your tissue, all throughout your body, and that removes the collagen. It depletes your skin of collagen, significant collagen, and contributes to the visible signs of aging. So glycation is arguably the major culprit. There's a bunch of others. There's a bunch of others. Exposure to the sun, leading a sedentary sort of life. We can go through the list of the many culprits, but glycation is right there at the top of it.
Glycation. Wow, with a Y. JT, help us out in the chat. I'll put it later on the Facebook. Glycation. I'm reading it because this is actually new to me. Advanced glycation. Incredible. So sun factor for me is a big thing. I'm Colombian. I am, from the equator line. So a lot of the times, obviously, God gave us this skin, right, Martin? A little bit darker, just so that that the sun can hit us in Ghana and Colombia are on the same in this. I think we're on the same equator area, central. but definitely for me, as I have read, sun is that first culprit, right? And if we don't take care of our skin and take care of with some good SPF and some hat, wearing everything that we need, we're going to pay the price later on. And especially now I live in Canada. So you think, oh no, there's not a lot of sun in Canada. There's sun all the time. There's sun all the time. It's there. So we need to watch that. So
Yeah.
glycation. Wow.
And if I may, for darker complexion folks, it's kind of like a pro and a con. And the pro being that, we can be exposed to the sun and, mitigate sunburn relative to our lighter or fairer complexion brothers and sisters. The con, however, is that typically we're going to have a harder time absorbing vitamin C from the sun. So we ought to be especially intentional, especially those of us that are living in the colder climates of the world. We have to really be purposeful about incorporating vitamin D in our eating and our nutrition.
Vitamin D is super important. When I went, usually in Canada, and you're now again, we're back in the same area because you're in New York. I'm in Ontario, and our line actually should take 3 times what other people take. Like, for example, people in Florida. And sometimes people in Florida or Hawaii, they think that because they get sunny all the time, they don't need to take vitamin D. Well, we're covered. It's not like you're taking sun because, we're putting the sunblock, we're putting a hat, we're putting clothes. So definitely vitamin D is one of those things that it's one of those unknown secrets. You take enough vitamin D, 2,500 in the hotter countries, and for us, 5,000, 6,000 units. That's going to be very, very good and healthy, and keeps us without those moody changes because we're missing the UV light. I have a bearded dragon now. A bearded dragon needs to be at 107. Can you imagine that? I thought I was keeping his temperature at like 98, and somebody's like, no, they need at 107. And because he's in a environment that we do here at home, he needs a UV light. So it's the perfect balance of the world, right? So let's talk a little bit lifestyle. And before I go into lifestyle, I actually want to share Martin's Instagram page. For those of you, please, we have put the link. I want everybody to show support and start liking. We want to get this number to 10,000. And why? And I just want to show you guys a little bit about Martin. Martin, like he says, he wants to just go back to that lean look. And you're right, Martin. Women do want a man. I mean, most women, and because I'm married to one, want to have this look. I'm telling you, as a woman, it's nice and lean and fit. And I can see that you take care of what you're eating. I can see that you probably don't party too much at night. And if you do have a drink, which you have one of your videos, how much are you drinking alcohol or what you're drinking? Everything counts. And I have a man that, his handle is Calorie Master. So he's like all the time checking, if he's going to eat this, then he's not going to eat that. If he's going to eat this during the day, he's not going to eat that during the night. And hey, last night we were celebrating. So we went to a fusion restaurant and he tried everything. It's not like you don't need to starve yourself and so let's talk a little bit about this part. And again, I just wanted to entertain mostly women with that picture, but here's a lot of beautiful videos of Martin. I haven't had time to look at many like I want, but I will, Martin, on my, when I'm working out or something, start looking at this because they're nice and they're short. And I love that what you do is give us tips. And even though they are cater more for men, they work for women. So let's start looking at that. And here's one of your clients. I really like that you are helping all these men. And again, just before we go into Martin again, I like this, what Martin says, which is like, what woman doesn't like a man that looks right in their shirt? I'm telling you, I am lucky because of that. Man, I'm sorry. You need to listen to Martin, because one thing I admired about Waldo, who is also very good with his body, is that he needs to go and do a custom fit shirt. Because if you need a custom fit shirt, it looks so good on you, man. And to get that custom fit outfit, it's because you taking good care of your body. You're shaping it to what you're supposed to look like. Oversized muscles. Those are, for me, they're out. And I love the message that you're portraying. So let's talk about lifestyle. Do they need to starve themselves to death? And do they need to be at the gym 3 hours to have the look that you have?
That is an excellent question. The answer is emphatically no. You need not starve yourself. In fact, if you're starving on any nutritional or fitness program, you're definitely doing something wrong. Okay? You need not starve. You ought to eat till you're full. But here's what we preach, however. Okay? Intermittent fasting. And what do I mean by that? Time restricted eating. So let's say I wake up at 6, 7, whatever time you wake up. Skip breakfast, especially if you're, let's say, late 20s onward, right? We can debate whether intermittent fasting is appropriate and most effective way for folks in their 60s and beyond to eat. But if you're somewhere within that range, late 20s, all the way to your 50s, you ought to absolutely be practicing intermittent fasting. Why is that important? So when we abstain from eating, especially for the long haul, we're able to tap into our fat stores. And one of the major culprits for people, many of the chronic incidences that are happening around the world, especially here in the Western Hemisphere, is all these chronic conditions, obesity, diabetes, and a bunch of other malfeasance. There's been a lot of research in the past couple of decades about the efficacy of intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. The NIH consistently pumps out data and research. So if folks that are interested, just Google National Institute of Health and then intermittent fasting and have at it. Read as much data, as much scientific study that your time allows. But the data is very compelling. It's not a debate at this point. So you might be asking yourself, why isn't this information more out there? And the reason might have something to do with the industries that benefit from a lot of folks being sick, being unwell, right? It's difficult to market, it's difficult to make billions telling people to restrict the times that they're eating. On the contrary, there's, folks, businesses, industries stand to benefit immensely, pumping out this idea that you ought to have 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not necessary. That contributes. And typically, the things that a lot of folks are eating, to the extent that they're eating breakfast, is likely to be something that is very high in processed carbs, very high in processed sugar. And these things contribute to, as I mentioned before, obesity and diabetes, among other conditions.
So can we eat to reverse age? Like, or are we eating to age faster? That is like the same question, but backwards. Like, does it affect our food if we're aging faster, or can we eat to reverse?
We can and we should eat to reverse. For example, let's say I break my fast. I'm starting out 9 times out of 10 with a small bowl of blueberries or some other variation of berries. Berries are very packed in polyphenols, high in antioxidants, high in anti-inflammatory markers. So berries are an exceptional choice. I also add lemon and lime squeezes of lemon and lime to a variety of dishes that I'm enjoying. But ultimately, to your question, we have to be very intentional about the options that we're making when it comes to nutrition. It's difficult to do that without being intentional. And what I mean by that is this. Let's say you pulled up to a restaurant. This can be any restaurant. Chances are the foods that they're going to serve you does not prioritize health and wellness. Why? It's not their foremost priority, right? Their foremost priority is profit. And going about that, they want to present the most the tastiest food, the tastiest dishes that they can present. And for whatever reason, they forego the nutrition aspect and present purely along the lines of taste. And in a way, they're not completely to blame, because people typically don't ask themselves. Let's say you're trying to decide what restaurant you're going to eat at. You're not asking yourself, what's the most nutritious restaurant out there? You're probably asking yourself, who served the best tasting meals? And let's face it, we've all done it. We all do it, right? You want something that tastes good, okay? So they're, appealing to your palates. They're appealing to your taste buds. What we ought to do is demand nutrition. In other words, we want both, right? We want something that tastes good, but we also want something that is nutritious, that helps us, age more gracefully, age a lot more slowly. And those options are out there.
Like you said, and it happens because right now this interview is for a network marketing company, and so we have a lot of women in the live Zoom, but we have one man. It's actually my brother, so I just want to kind of put him as an example. My brother Jaime, he is here. I hope he doesn't mind. He was like, oh, he gets a little shy, but last year he looked like he was in perfect shape, meaning for a man that doesn't go too much to the gym, he eats okay. He was fine. He was fine. He went to the doctor. Blood pressure was fine. Everything was going on well. He's 60. He looks like he's 30, but he's 60. And he went to the doctor. He went and they told him that he was actually short of breath and that he should do a routine surgery for his heart, just because there was like something that later on could calcify in his aorta or something. And he got this surgery after he discussed it with his family, Martin. And guess what? He almost died. It was an open heart surgery. Now they're very small. They're like this. Like, he sometimes says like, oh my gosh, but I'm proud of those scars, right? Because it reminds me of a new beginning. Like Jaime almost lost his life on this surgery. Like it was fine, but then it got complicated, and then God gave him back to us. And so he is your perfect ideal client. Right now, he is going like we went to a trip on a For Life convention. Lots of people got to know him and meet him and love him. And he's like, oh, I want to build my muscle. Like right now, he's very nice and slim, but has no muscle. And he eats well, but doesn't like he doesn't really, he just eats well. He just doesn't eat unhealthy. And he supplements with For Life, and he just supplements for his heart. He supplements for his immunity. So when you have a client like this, I want you to help me with two things. First, we're gonna give you a little bit of this is the sales commercial. I want you to tell me a little bit about the app again, kind of run me through a man like Jaime would have to do these steps, but also give us a few tips on how a person, like he actually wants to now at 60, he's your perfect target market, build muscle. He's in construction, so he has a regular muscle of a man that has worked hard, but he's now sitting on his truck because it's his own business, so he doesn't get on and do a lot of stuff anymore, right? So how would a male at 61 even start a program like yours? And again, tell us a little bit about the app, how we talked before, like, and some tips of what men can do at home.
That is an excellent question. So with a gentleman like Hamed, I'm going to look at his day-to-day movements. Some folks live a more physically demanding sort of lifestyle. As you mentioned, the gentleman is in construction. So chances are his body typically is being put to use, right? And ultimately, that is the goal. Now, build a muscle takes us a step further. In other words, he wants to be more intentional about what sort of movements he's doing. So I'm going to have him on a regimen of compound movements. That means deadlifts. That means squats. That means dips, if he's able to. And if he's even more capable, weighted dips and pull-ups. What are these? These are movements that emulate the movements that we typically do in our everyday lives. So him being in construction, chances are he's bending down and picking up some heavy material, or he's having to reach up over his head to place certain other items. Okay, all the movements that I just listed emulate real life events, real life activities. So an effective fitness program incorporate all these things. It brings to bear working these particular muscles, developing these particular muscles that then carry over into our day-to-day lives.
That is wonderful. I know there's a lot of men that are in 50s and 60s, which is when they want to have that second win, and they're like, I have a lot of life to live. I want to look good, and I want to feel good, and I want to have the energy, which now Jaime has. Thanks to the surgery, he does have now. We went hiking. He's happy that everything is like above normal. Like that's what happened. And again, he's taking our For Life supplements. We can close with that. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the magazine. So I'm going to share again my screen, everybody. I want you to have eyes on me, everybody. If you're doing something else, just check how easy it is, because we really are excited about this. So first I'll share. I just want to, and then Martin's going to tell us how he actually got into, or who got him into this. I don't know how he ended up in this. So here is Martin Codia, and it's he'll tell us in a minute what it is, but I just want to show you how easy it is. So this is a free voting, and we have 5 days and 11 hours, and all we're asking from you is a vote. It takes you 10 seconds or less, probably 3 seconds. And wouldn't you love to see Martin in the muscle and fitness? And why? Specifically because of that, because we don't have to have everybody so muscly in the muscle and fitness. Like there's got to be somebody that is a little different. In this case, again, what Martin is portraying is we don't have to have all men looking that like Mr. Sebum, or Don has a little more slimmer look, but we want to have a cater for all. So all you do, voting for group finalists, and some Thursday, June 13, he's been holding first place. And right here, you can actually buy votes if you want, but if you can do just a free vote, we'll ask you to do that. Where it says verify with card, you don't have to. It's easier if you already have a Facebook account. You say verify with Facebook. And now it says, look like you've already used your free vote. Oh, okay. I cannot vote again because I already voted. But I can vote again in 3 hours. Wow. I don't know when I voted because I just vote and vote as much as I can, but I thought it was every 24 hours. So I'll just be careful. In 3 hours, JT can send me another one. And you can also buy votes, but I think Martin will. I haven't bought any of the votes, and Martin's still holding on strong at number one. So let's now get a little bit into what is that? Like, how did you get into that? And yes, we all want you to win. So what is the magazine contest? How did you get into that?
So, I'm scrolling through social media, and I came upon this opportunity. It's a very open process. Anyone can apply for it. So I did what a normal person would do. I applied for it. And so when you apply for it, they screen your socials. I imagine they do whatever search that they're going to do. They have their own internal process, I imagine. And a couple of weeks later, I received the invite that I've been handpicked to be in a run-in, nominated, in other words, to be featured in this prestigious publication. They are the most widely read publication in the fitness space. So a mentioning by them would be tremendous for the message that we're looking to advance. That is that young folks and people, men of all size, men of all shapes, should prioritize going back to the earlier times, the more functional, the more fit, the more agile, leaner version, as opposed to the current iteration of fitness, the current avatar. The other message being that, your busy lifestyle, and a lot of us are busy being adults, right? You need not choose between your busy lifestyle versus, being well, being fit, being healthy. You can and should pursue the two. So to your question, I'm sure you were gonna get there. Um, Once I submitted myself for the process, I got the notification that I've been handpicked to be in a run-in, and they created a profile for me, a dashboard, and encouraged me obviously to send the link to my many followers on the various social media platforms, which I did, and it gave you a date that the contest was going to begin on. Here's one thing that I wish I'd known, and I wish I'd coached my supporters on earlier. This thing is a lot more of a marathon than a sprint. And what I mean by that is this: it's a contest not only of popularity but of endurance. So whoever can galvanize the most amount of people and sustain that level of interest for the long haul is more likely to win. All right. It's nice that you can get, hordes of folks who are supporting you to vote one time, right? But to get those folks to stick by you and vote day in and day out, every 24 hours consistently, tirelessly, all the way till the first week of July, that's when a winner is going to be announced, right? God willing, that's going to be me, right? But whoever is able to maintain and sustain that level of enthusiasm is likely to win. And so far, I've been very grateful. I've been very blessed to have, my for life family, my biological family, friends, supporters on the various social media platforms. Some even have gone out of their way to pay for votes. And interesting, I'm happy. I'm blessed for that. I'm not gonna discourage anyone not to pay. These folks did it out of their own kindness, their own will, and I'm always going to be grateful for that.
Thank you, Martin. Well, you know what? I want to close so we can leave some space also for people and transition a little bit into that new for life family that you have here that is live, and we hope it reaches a lot more people than just for life. So please remember, vote, vote, vote. It's free. It takes 3 seconds. Martin is such an amazing person. We want to put eyes out there on him. He delivers a beautiful message. He wants to help man and women and marriages be healthier and happier, because you know what, women are really happy when their men are healthy, happy, and their mind is clear. Like I said, I can vouch for that. If Waldo doesn't do his workout, he is moody. He does his workout, and you know what, he is a happy man. He can be a better father. He can have his head more clear. So definitely. um so, how did For Life come into your life? And I know you have both of your biggest supporters here, but how did they find you? Like, I want to find one like you. How did they find you?
So my homie Jean, who sometimes go by Daniel, shout out to you, homie, fellow Baldy. Um, so Jean and I go back many years. We actually became friends while working catering, and John is immensely smart. He's incredibly dynamic, knows a lot about a bunch of different things. So we would just, our conversations would be about, politics one day and, current events the next day and this and that and you name it. And so even after we moved on to work for different companies and different industries, we still stayed in touch. We hang out when our schedules allow. And he had mentioned an opportunity to promote this product. And me being a curious-minded person, I began with a slate of questions. And to his credit, he answered everything. He ultimately set up a meeting with JT, who's also a producer extraordinaire, who's also here. JT, met with myself and John, answered every question I had. And again, I was still unsatisfied to the degree that, I'm gonna have For Life on my brand and promoting For Life products and what have you. So to quench this later stage of curiosity, they set up a meeting with yet another person and then another person and then another person. So ultimately, being joining being a coalition with For Life it just made sense. And the reason why it made sense for me is this. I'm really big on research. I'm an academic. That is my training. I'm a school teacher. I have advanced degrees. My background is academic research. I love learning. I love teaching. I also obviously love fitness, as you can tell. So they combine the academic stuff, okay, and then I took a look at their slate of fitness products, and by and large, they were much of what I'm either using or I've been in conversations about. So the short of it is that it simply made sense to join forces with the For Life family. So far, For Life has been immensely helpful, not only to my being able to get up and running with my For Life various For Life links, but also helping me advance in this competition as I have so far. It would not have been possible without For Life.
Hi, Martin. Thank you. We love you. Like I said, we do want to see you in that front page. And we love every single one of us in For Life from Singapore and Malaysia and USA. And we have somebody from Kenya. Wangechi has joined us. So as you can see, we are a worldwide family. And this is what is beautiful about it, that we are not about us, we're about everybody. And so in network marketing, if you're helping somebody in another part of the world, you're helping yourself. We are like a community garden, somebody's planting somewhere and you will actually be able to gather that crop later on. And thank you, Daniel and JT, because, finding Martin has been great. Just like we did with Dr. Ronnie, influencers and people that have large numbers uh, of people looking at them, partnering with our company just makes our company that better place to be. We know, us in already have been in For Life for a long time. We know we are in the number one immune system company and we love it. And so just to get you out there reading about us and saying, oh, wow, transfer factor. I'm interested a little bit more on this transfer factor immunity molecule. And so we're so excited. Please research as much as you can so you can start talking more and more about what For Life and Transfer Factor can do for people. I want to transition into questions, and I think my friend Dr. Ramunda has been listening. So I want questions from everybody, but I want actually Dr. Ramunda, if she can, to tell us what she thinks about this conversation that we're having today on aging healthy, fitness with a lean fit. Dr. Ramunda, are you able to talk? I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Good awesome morning, everybody. How are you?
Good
Excellent,
morning.
Dr. Ramunda. Let me bring you into the spotlight.
Aging is sexy. Aging is sexy because guess what? Tomorrow I'll be 58 years of young. Tomorrow I'll be 58 years young. When you live in a life of understanding that that's the best thing you do is take care of yourself internally.
Absolutely.
Age pro is good. Hey, what's up, young man? How are you? Nice to conversate with you and meet you.
I'm quite well, Dr. Romando. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes. So yeah, aging is beautiful. I'm a person, I make sure that my internals are taken more care of because it glows on the outside. If you take care
Absolutely.
of the internal, everything else does what it's supposed to do on the natural. I'm not a makeup person. My friends say you're just so plain. But if I want somebody to meet me, I want them to meet me plain. So when I do enhance it, they even more turned on. You know what I'm saying? But if you come with a character that you had to represent and put together and all these things, then sometimes we got to check within ourselves, like, who are we really? I eat clean, I drink good water, I sleep at peace, I do right by people. And that's one of the things he was talking about, like Claudia was talking about. So wellness is definitely real and wellness is biblical. I love what I do
Absolutely.
to help educate people worldwide. I'm out today because I had a whole different agenda, but I come out in this vitamin D, as y'all should see.
I
And
love
everybody
it.
got umbrellas over the head. They got umbrellas over the head and hiding under the tents. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Y'all missing the best part of y'all circulation. It's warming your blood up. They got a nice track. They sitting around. Me, I'm an active person. I'm probably the oldest one out here, but I do more activities than most of them out here. I did martial arts with my daughter at 5. I was 30 when I had my daughter. 35, I'm doing martial arts with the kids. So yeah, life is beautiful. Being a part of For Life is a great thing. It's a great opportunity to enjoy what life is really all about. For life. That's like lifestyle. Life with style. For life. You got that for life with lifestyle. It's beautiful.
You're beautiful, Dr. Ramunda. Thank you for being in the conversation and enjoy your day. I think she's with her grandchild. She's the active grandma. She doesn't even look like a grandma. And she's always with him, taking him everywhere. Super grandma, gut expert, Dr. Ramunda in the house. Thank you, Dr. Ramunda.
Actually, my daughter's with me. With me today. I'm actually hitchhiking with them today. But I have a facial setup that my daughter's an esthetician. So that's what I'm saying. You got to keep the bloodline good. She's an esthetician. So she has me set up today to get my facial, get myself together looking. What can I say? It's a beautiful morning.
Very good, Dr. Ramunda. All right, who is next? I want to see a hand to ask a question or give a comment to Martin. Let me remove that spotlight. So let me see my gallery view. Who's raising their hand? And don't fight all together. Don't be shy.
Go up.
Daniel, very good. I was hoping it was you to be next.
Well, first of all, I'm trying to figure out how I get this hand icon to go up. Where is it?
It's okay. I can see you. I have a gallery.
No, I mean, first off, I'm so proud of Martin. I'm so proud of everything he's accomplished within, I guess, it's a span of like less than 2 months. I mean, since and me and Jose, I blew his identity. Me and JT, we are often amazed by the fact that his signing on to For Life as a brand ambassador occurred concurrently with this contest, and it became like the perfect storm. I mean, I was like, wow, this is like divine intervention of some sort, and he has brought so much energy into not only as far as my daily activities, me and Jose, and helping him out. But I would say the many people within the For Life family, he's brought so much energy because of engaging us in this quest. But anyway, just to ask a question, keto diet is very popular. It's very trendy nowadays. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what it is. I don't know if Martin, if he would like to talk on it, if he has any knowledge on that.
Yes, certainly. I'd be happy to. So, a short version is this: when we abstain from longer periods of eating, and to the extent that during those shorter feeding window, we prioritize, let's say, lean protein, healthier fats. Okay, our bodies are designed to kick into this phase called the ketogenic phase, which means that we've tapped into our fat stores. We're using fat as fuel. That is one of the best ways to maintain overall wellness because, places like the brain likes to burn fat for fuel. Although if you fed it sugar, or rather you fed it carbs, it'll use that also. But it really likes to use fat as fuel. Your body is designed to operate this way. This is one of the more optimal ways for your body to function. So the ketogenic diet, it's sort of trendy in some spaces. Some folks use it every now and then. The biggest critique about it is that it's not as sustainable. Look, we all enjoy our carbs. Everybody enjoys, a bowl of rice, a pizza here and there. All right, and these things are not conducive to getting into a ketogenic state. That is the one thing that typically, stop people from practicing keto as often. It demands a level of discipline that is usually very difficult to sustain over the long haul. But for people that are able to do the ketogenic diet, it's immensely beneficial.
I hope that cleared some questions. Keto is always a biggie, eh? Keto is like intermittent and keto are like these things that people never understand. Is like, what's intermittent? Should I do intermittent? And then there's like a whole conversation of what to do when you are fasting. So that's another talk for another day because there's so much topic on that. And I want to give the mic to Kuwinder Samra from Toronto. Hello, my friend. You can unmute.
Hello, everybody. Hi, nice to meet you, Martin. Happy birthday, Dr. Ramunda. And I'm listening this conversation one way. I say it's a blessing. Today I just woke up and this call pop up, and today my day is off. Martin, I'm like hearing about keto. I'm an Indian. If I say I don't eat, I eat like enough sugars and everything. But I always thinking habits, making a lifestyle. Lifestyle can't start by without that. And I love Dr. Munda House at For Life. That's the way since day one I join, and I'm saying this is not just a company or not a product. This is for your life destination. And more we learn, more we, I think, going deep in depth. Like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not like a kind of Jew or fit in person, I can say. Dr. Munda, I'm running behind you. I'm 57 in August. Like, I'm going to complete that. I'm going to start 58 too. Yesterday, I done like table in my retirement home where the vendors are there, and I start print of PDF. I give like people, I didn't say like come and stop by, I just give a PDF. Like 3 4 sales going on, like people are still searching about like what is a transfer factor, how much I know, I explain them. But like sometimes I'm saying like explaining a transfer factor or For Life, it's like this is a lifestyle, but like people they don't understand what is your best tip you can do for me in a short period of time. How I listen your conversation, what is the best tip you can give me?
I'm sorry. Can you ask me the question one more time?
What's the best tip you can give me, because you are the short period of time in a For Life, how transfer factor affect for you, or how we can bring to the other families, like they can listen, like when we are talking about immunity, immune system, how they can understand us better.
Well, for life, prioritizes immune function. I think ultimately that is their calling card. All right, like they're expert when it comes to all the things that keeps one healthy, the immune boost, immune system. That is sort of like a message that has been fine tuned over the life of the company. Much of their research, much of their effort goes toward advancing this message that when your immune system functions optimally, guess what? Other aspects of wellness will come into play. And I think, as I mentioned, ultimately, that is For Life's mission. And to a great degree, they've been very effective at that.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful question. And you're right, Kawinder Martin is very new, but he's a researcher. So that's why he decided to partner with For Life, just like Dr. Ronnie. People, Dr. Ramunda, once they see the research and once they see, it opens their eyes. And when he starts trying all of our products, some he may not like, some he will fall in love with. So we can't wait to see him trying all of our things.
No, I listen him. He's an academic teacher and he's doing a researcher. I listen his conversation. That's the way like I see from day one For Life, because in India we are using a colostrum, but we are using on different form way. But like I believe that product is like a awesome. People need to be listen more to spread this word more.
Yes, I know. Oh, Martin, I see you talking, but I don't know what happened. I didn't hear your voice.
No, I'm
You're good.
agreeing.
You're good. You're agreeing. Perfect. Thank you, Kawinder. I know Kawinder is a good friend of mine, super healthy, always on the talk. We got a few more questions, and I want to give this one to Chauvin. If anybody else has anything to say, this may be your chance because we are closing in a very few minutes. So, Chauvin, what do you think about this conversation?
I think it's a great conversation. And Martin, I've been in your corner since JT told me to start voting for you. And JT and I have this very fun, thing going back and forth. He's making me laugh because I put a heart and he goes, "Does that mean you voted today?" So, and then I had to start doing the thumbs so he'd understand. So every day I'm voting for you and I'm excited, and I have some connections on LinkedIn, Women in Farming in Ghana. And so I've been telling them about you because you are one of their countrymen originally. So they're very excited. I think they're voting, and we're getting ready. Our team, our small team around Dr. Ronnie, we're getting ready to do a detox in July 6th. It's my first detox. Have you ever done a detox? And do you have any tips for us to, get ready for it mentally as well as physically?
So I would compare not a detox specifically, but I've done fasting, extended fasting, and I've for folks who are dealing with gut issues, folks who are dealing with a bunch of other conditions, fasting is the time-honored tradition for detoxifying the body, so to speak. So I can speak from the perspective of fasting, an extended fast, and perhaps less from a detox as it's typically or conventionally practiced. So it's every bit a mental challenge or mental battle as much as it is a physical, okay? And going into a fast, I convince myself that I'm going into a battle, right? I think of the ancient gladiators or, some of these other images that are typically fed. And what got you to do it in the first place? Because there's going to be moments where you're going to want to quit, right? You're going to want to back out and maybe take a bite of something that you're not supposed to have during the life of that detox or that fast. And so once you're able to visualize what the ultimate outcome looks like, and I'm somebody that I appreciate delayed gratification. I can hold out on a prize and keep my eye on the prize. And if I believe that the ends justify the means, which obviously doing a detox most certainly it does, then during those intervening moments where I'm tempted to have a bite of something, knowing that the ultimate prize awaits me and it's sort of the glory that I'm ultimately pursuing, I'm more than capable of withholding and standing out, withholding those moments where temptation might come up and keep my, as I mentioned, keep my eyes on the prize and pursue the ultimate goal. So thinking about what got you to pursue it in the first place. This can maybe mean a healthier version of you, maybe a leaner body, a more fit, a more toned version. Keep that in mind, stay focused, and remove those items of temptation out of your way as much as possible. Do not keep the things that will make you break your fast or your detox in the fridge. Do not have those things handy because it makes it a lot more difficult to withstand that temptation when you know that there's a nice piece of chocolate cake. I'm saying chocolate cake because that was my big thing. Yeah. In the fridge and it's so readily available, screaming out to, Siobhan, come get me, right? Exactly. It's a lot easier to, have a successful detox or successful fast if you don't have those items within reach.
Oh, that's amazing. So that's encouraging because I've already wanted to step out. I'm thinking, maybe I wouldn't do it, but Claudia and Jillian and the whole team are just not going to let me. I'm being funneled right into doing the detox. It's the first, as I said, it's the first time I ever did one. But Martin, I thank you for sharing today. And at Feel Good, Share Good, our show, we're looking forward to having you and Patricia Jenkins, who is one of our fitness experts, join us in September. So everybody, follow Feel Good, Share Good on Facebook, and you'll see Martin and Patricia together as fitness experts, and we'll talk a lot because we'll have an hour to talk with you guys. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank
Wow,
you.
thank you, Siobhan. Yes, we are looking forward to having Siobhan, we're looking forward, Siobhan, to having Martin in the Real Talk show. But we're definitely also going to have him here on these Saturday talks. We have to schedule him again. But I want to hear the audience, and you can write it in the chat. What is the next topic you want to talk about today? Because we were meeting him, we focused a little also on him. We didn't get too deep into anti-aging, and we will. But what do you want to learn from Martin? If you could have Martin again, what do you want to learn from him? That would be my question. Can you write it in the chat? Can you raise your hand and say, I would love for Martin to teach us about this? With that, it's 10:56. So I'm going to be closing. Let me see if I have anybody else. I'm going to remove Siobhan from the spotlight. And JT, you've been quiet. I don't know if you want to close with a hello for Martin, and we have a few comments on the chat. Thank you, Patricia, for that. And Daniel, it's funny. He says, Dr. Munda, are you the Black Panther's mom? So I love it. She looks like her. So we're closing in. Yes, Martin and I can also connect. Oh, Dr. Munda wants to do a talk with that. We're starting a talk, Martin, with Dr. Munda. She has a brand, gut health expert, but she's also she has another umbrella of her brand is Parasites Love You. So I think you and Dr. Munda would do a great combo also, because there's so much going on that we need to educate and teach people. JT, if you have nothing to say, just go no to the iPad. You're good. All right. So we are closing. Xenia, thank you for that. Oh, she's writing already the topic. That's great. Oh yeah, demonstrate my very good. That's more like a fitness class. Thank you so much, everybody. I have enjoyed so much having this conversation with you, Martin. It was great. I like we're all fans right here, the ones that are live. If you had not had a chance to vote for Martin and you didn't know what was going on, remember we got 5 more days to keep him on that first spot. And we want to see you on that cover of the magazine. And yes, sure, you know what? The money will be nice. We want you to bank that money. You deserve it. But it'll just be nice to see you. I don't know. I'm more about recognition. Yeah, obviously I want cash. 20,000 is not going to be bad. You deserve it. You work hard for it. And by the way, he's giving all these tips for free, like his whole Instagram, right? He started as, I just want to educate people, just like Dr. Mundash. She started, and then he became an influencer without knowing, and then he became a personal trainer, coach, and everything. He just really wanted to educate, and that's why I believe God will bless him with those 20,000, because he didn't start with I want to make money. He started with I want to bring a message. I want to educate people. I am a teacher. That's what God gave me. I'm just going to put my face out there and say whatever God puts me to say, and that's why he deserves the 20,000. And again, that's why he deserves that cover in that magazine. So please vote every day for the next 5 days. Even 20 people that are live on the Zoom, and whoever's watching Facebook Live. Can you imagine if we can get them those 100 or 1,000 votes to keep him in number one, because he has been there. So we're so proud to have you in for life as our new influencer. We also bless your Instagram, and we hope it grows to 100,000 very quick, and that you get into the celebrity, numbers that people, like I said, whatever he says, people are going to want to try, and that message is going to be delivered faster. But what God will say. Thank you, everybody. Martin, any last words, or you can just simply say goodbye to everybody, and then I can close the talk.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, that was all perfect. So thank you, everybody. Let me just finish that Facebook Live. Thank you, Facebook friends. We are closing this Facebook. And thank you, everybody in the live recording. And we had people from about 6 countries, right, JT? That was amazing. Thank you.